Mr. Victor Krishna Kanu was born in the West African country of Sierra Leone, and he had a very impressive academic record. He was at the zenith or peak of his career as the High Commissioner of Sierra Leone stationed in London, the United Kingdom. That was when he got to know of Swami through an amazing dream. In the dream, he traveled with the angels across the oceans, across the skies, and came to a strange place which itself had angels adorning many arches. And there he saw a very kind being. I will not go into the details of that story, but many years later, when he actually flew across the skies and the oceans to land in India and travel to Puttaparthi, he saw the same scenes there, what he had seen in his dream, and he knew that he had reached his master, his Lord, Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. However, the greatest test of his life, the challenge in his life came in 1989, the July of 1989, when he got an interview with Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. He and his wife were there, and Swami looked at him and said, "I want you to go to Zambia and spread my love, continue my mission of love over there." Now, Zambia is a country that comes to the southeast of the continent of Africa, and Mr. Victor Krishna Kanu had just been there for about 3 weeks along with his wife, conducting some EHV courses. EHV stands for Education in Human Values. He nodded in agreement to whatever Swami said, but what did Swami want him to do? And then Swami gave the details. Swami said, "I want you to go to Zambia and start a Sathya Sai school there." Oh, start a school in a country where he had no connections, no contacts, few people maybe he knew, and no context as well. But he nodded. That was when his wife, Mrs. Genoveva, whom Mr. Victor Krishna Kanu says is the braver of the two, asked Swami directly, "Swami, how do we get resources? How do we get the money to do all this?" And Swami simply said, "Sell your house in London and go there. If necessary, borrow from the bank as well." Wow. At this point in time, Mr. Kanu was reminded of a story from the New Testament of the Bible. He was a devout Christian, and he recollected how a rich young man comes to Lord Jesus and asks him what he should do to achieve the highest. That is when Jesus tells him that he should follow the commandments. The young man says, "I am following the commandments. What more should I do?" Then Jesus tells him, "Give away all your wealth to the poor. Come and follow me." Now the man hesitates. He has great wealth, but he also has great attachment to that wealth, and he walks away from Jesus, not giving up the wealth that Jesus had told him to give up. And that is why Jesus says that it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to go through the gates of heaven. A very similar incident is also recorded in the Shirdi Sai Satcharitra. I won't go into the details of that incident because it is presented at this link above. Do go and watch it to see how a rich man comes wanting Brahma Vidya, or the ultimate, the Brahma Gyan, the ultimate wisdom from Shirdi Baba, and Shirdi Baba's response to him and the message to him. It will give us a better idea about what is the one that we have to pay attention to and what is the zeros that we should give up. And this episode, Mr. Kanu remembered there in the interview room, and he decided not to make that mistake. He said, "Yes, Swami, we will do it." And he felt extremely happy and blessed, for he was convinced that this was a test, a sign of grace from Swami. Dear brothers and sisters, we often think that, oh, we missed seeing Swami, we didn't get a chance to touch him, we didn't get an interview with him. An interview with Swami is not always pleasurable in the worldly sense. We always think of the interview because we think we want to get this, we want to ask this from Swami, we want to gain this from Swami. And here is Swami telling him to give up everything that he has earned so far and follow his words. Credit to Mr. Victor Krishna Kanu and his wife Miss Genoveva that they decided to follow Swami in spirit and the letter. They went back to London and sold everything. They gave up their savings, their investments, their insurance, they sold the house, they sold the cars, and as Mr. Kanu says, they sold even the pots and pans, the carpets, the furniture, the bedding, everything completely wrapped up. And in the December of 1989, they were on their way to Zambia with the money that they had got and with the hopes and aspirations to start a Sathya Sai school with the abundance of blessings from Swami. They reached Zambia and then took some time to find their bearings. But once that was done, they were seriously engaged in this act of building the Sathya Sai school in Zambia. Now they had two options. One, they could build it near the capital city of Lusaka, where there were all the amenities available, all the facilities available, and it would be definitely the easier option. Because the other option was to build it at a place called Ndola, which was far away, which was remote, which was in the rural hinterland of Zambia. So they did not know. Their things would be cheaper, of course, but nothing would be available almost. They would have to travel to Lusaka to get everything. Swami told them to build it where there is a need. Swami says, if you need me, you deserve me. Swami does not look at facilities and resources. Swami looks at where there is a need. That is why, dear brothers and sisters, the best way to get Swami is to need Swami. To tell Swami that, Swami, you are not a want in my life. You are not something that I desire. You are a need in my life, Swami. Just like air, just like food, just like water. I need you, Swami. Without you, I cannot stay. See the speed with which he responds. Here too, the need was greater at Ndola in the rural parts, and Swami advised the couple to build the school over there. And so in the June of 1990, the construction of the school began. There were no good construction companies, and even if they were ready to come there and build, it would be very expensive. So Mr. Kanu himself became the engineer, the architect, and he built the school with the help of labor from the local people. These were the people who would actually be employed by the big companies to make many constructions, and they would hardly be paid anything because all the managers and the engineers and the top people would take in the money, right? But here, Mr. Kanu ensured that he paid all of them very well, so much so that they came working with great energy, gusto, and put in all their heart, soul, blood, sweat, toil, everything into making and building this beautiful school, which was inaugurated in 1991. As the doors of the school were thrown open, welcoming children, they had a lot of students coming to enlist for the primary school. But then the problem, as Mr. Kanu says, they faced was that there were no secondary school students. Why? To join secondary school in Zambia and many parts of Africa, you need to clear a public examination after your primary schooling. And once you finish that, all those who get good grades and good ranks choose to go into established higher secondary schools. None of the students who were bright or who had done well in the primary school public examinations were ready to risk everything and join a new school which had just opened. And once again, more than the students for whom the school had a need, Swami guided them to pick the students for whom the school was necessary. And thus, all the dropouts, all the failures, these were the children who were picked up for the secondary school by Mr. Kanu. Everybody was shocked. Everybody from the top government officials to the small villagers thought that these people are crazy. How can a school establish a reputation if you take in the starting itself all the failures? Dikku leni vadiki devude dikku. For those that have no refuge, Swami alone, God alone is the refuge. That is what Swami proved again, and he proved it through his instruments, Mr. Victor Kanu and Miss Genoveva. as they worked on with all love on these dropouts and failures. And dear brothers and sisters, few years down the line, when the public examination in ninth grade was held, these very students who were termed as failures by the society and the world were touched by God's love, inspired by God's love, and they became the toppers. Such was the astounding results they brought in that the government of Zambia called the Sathya Sai School of Zambia as the Miracle School of Zambia. The Miracle School, the Sathya Sai School of Zambia, went on to win many certifications, accreditations, honors, and prizes, and so many things, recognition from across the globe.